Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Forum, and as usual, I'd like to just go through the agenda real quick. Goal in mind that I want to try to operate as much as possible, and it's a working process to get to 1 hour meetings. And so as the individuals know that have a copy of the agenda, one of the things that we talked about last time and I had done this time is our goals are at the top of the sheet, and the name of the school board and the board members are second to that. And so that'll give everybody an opportunity to work off of that in the future. I'll talk about how we're going to work off goals because they're there, and the things that we do are going to be in line with the goals. So our meeting is by Zoom or in present, and preferable, we like to have people present right now. We have public comment, finance, consent agenda. We have some policies, superintendent's report, administrative reports, high school, middle school, committee reports, the chair report, and we have an FYI. Now, one of the things I like to do is I went down the list and said 5 minutes for public comments, 5 minutes for finance, 5 minutes for the consent agenda, 5 minutes for policy, 5 minutes for the superintendent, 5 minutes for the administrators, 5 minutes for the committee, and 10 minutes for me. Okay.
I got the stopwatch right
All
here.
right, I
So,
got it.
I just wanted to put that down and give us a chance to say, well, this is how we want to operate. And the reason we want to be prepared, really prepared to really be informative, right to the point, and get out. Because we're going to work by committees in the future to have a lot of things solved before we get here. So that's the agenda, unless someone have any issues with the format. Do we need to move anything? Do we need to add anything before we start so that the public will know that we need to make some additions to the agenda? If not, then we'll start with the 5-minute time for public comments. Are there anyone in the public that are online that would like to make a public comment?
I would like to make a public comment.
Okay, and making a public comment, we'll want to make sure you state your name and so that we can know exactly who you are. And if it's pertinent to anything on the agenda, or this is new.
No, actually, it's a question about the agenda.
It's Joe. Oh, Joe Barber.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't really, okay, you just a name. So the question about the agenda, you had something that you want to add to the agenda in terms of public comment?
I would like to ask a question about the transgender in the high school. When it comes to locker rooms, I would like to.
So wait a minute, I'm trying to make sure this is a public comment and you're coming in on the public comment, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so I want to just hear what you have to say on the public comment. That's what I want to
I'd
know.
love to say something, Liam. That would be great if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So my question to the board would be, if you're going to go through with all this transgender stuff with the high school and guys get to use girls' rooms and vice versa, which doesn't seem to be the case. But anyway, my concern is my daughter going to be safe in a locker room? Or are you going to let transgender people go into a locker room as well? Or bathrooms? with your policy, is this going to happen? Are men going to be allowed to go into girls' locker rooms? Are men going to be allowed to go into the girls' bathrooms if they claim to be transgender? Is that the case? And if that is the case, what protections do these girls have from being molested, groped, raped, and their privacy?
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anyone else have a comment on the public comment?
It was more of a question.
Hey, thank you. In public comments, we do not discuss the items. We hear and listen, and it's a one-way question to the board, and we hear you. And thank you for the comment. Okay, I'm going to move on. In the future, I would be expecting the finance committee chair, a person to try to make sure they understand and know some of the things about the finance along this line. So we have included here is the treasurer's report from May 30th and with a account balance of $10,085,724.67 that need to have a motion to accept this report.
So moved.
Fran, accept. Moved it. Dave Fredmanson seconded. Are there any questions concerning this treasurer's report? Hearing none, I have a vote for all in favor. You can by aye, or either raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? And any no votes? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. The next item is the consent agenda, and on the consent agenda, we have minutes, we have warrants, we have retirees, one retiree, we have leave of absence, none, and we have a resignation and nominations. The Jackie, when we get to it, before we get to this, we have one person, Mrs. Sanquest, from the middle school for 31 and a half plus years, that we want to make sure we recognize her with a note. So that's what's on the consent agenda. We can, if there anyone that have any problems with anything on there, can we go and vote for the whole thing? We want to break out the different things. The minutes are from May 18th.
We accept it as a consent agenda.
It's been moved as we accept it as a consent agenda as a whole. How about a second?
Second.
It's been second by
Ron.
Now we have any discussions about it or what's on there? It's I just want to just briefly make sure we know that there are a bunch of warrants on, and I'm looking for in the future the finance committee to take a look at all the warrants and things along that line, so that we'll know exactly where we are. And we have several nominees and nominations and individuals that are resigning. So is there any other comments about the consent agenda? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Thank you. The next item is item 4 is policies. We have policy 5510, equity policy, that's up for warning. Can we I mean, I'm trying to see who was else was on the, Jackie, you were on the, there for the, you're, I was just trying to see who was there for the policy committee, so we can make sure. But anyway, that we put a new person on, and Tori is not Tori, but Marie is not here, and so Jackie was on there. But this is a new policy that was sent from the down for the Department of Ed, worked on by a group. And I want to just basically say the Southwest Vermont Supervisory Union and its member districts will incorporate principles of equity within all policies, programs, operations, and practices, and resources are allocated that way. So that policy is followed by definitions and some other information. So this is a warning. And so now someone have a comment? Shala?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up in the elementary school board meeting that we had last night. I don't know if Chris has gotten to you yet, Leon, but there was the request to bring it back to the policy committee to have it tweaked a little bit to both the two new ones that are being warned, to have them look more like the policies that we typically see in terms of the format. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that was going to be coming back to the policy committee.
That should be in your, no, he didn't. And it should be in your minutes for the board meeting or for whatever it was, and they'll pass it on to Lisa and central office here, and we'll be able to take a look at that. But this
Yep,
is.
yep. I just wanted to give you a heads up since, you know, it's going to be being adjusted. So does it make sense at this point for us to vote on something if it's going back to the policy committee? I just wanted to.
It does. I'm sorry. It does, because this is the warning part, and you take comments for warning, and we may take an additional things, and it goes all the way around, and then it comes back to the policy committee, and they take all of those things and review them and edit it if it's necessary, or then agreement, and then it comes back out for another for the adoption. So it's a long process, but this is the process.
It makes sense. I'm totally cool with that. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that that occurred yesterday as the head of the committee.
Okay, thank you.
And I move to warn the equity policy.
I second, Ron.
Okay, Charlotte and Don second it. Any other comments? All in favor?
I have a comment. Perhaps the gentleman who asked the question during the comment period, public comments, perhaps he could come to the next meeting of the policy committee.
They open. And,
Yes, but he probably he may not know. He may not know when it's being held.
Okay. I don't know that he's still here. So the policy meeting will be meeting, and I didn't write the date down for when the next one is in September. But
It'll be on our
It's-
website too.
It's the first Monday of September, correct?
no,
No, because
we
that's
have a date, so I hear you for that. And if he wants to come, he can contact, if you want to just ask the central office or somebody to send him a note and and he can be more than happy to show up. If he want to be in the present, and if he want to have some other comments, he can send them in, because we have a correspondence to a board and committee. We can do just that. He can document it and send it to us. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, all in favor for wanting the equity policy, by show of hands, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Any nays? Nobody abstaining. Okay, this is one with some comments format I have down. The next policy on the list is policy 5520, transgender non-conforming students. And this policy is up for warning. The this policy, just briefly, I'll read something. This policy is of the Board of Directors of the Southwest Vermont Supervisory Union and Union Districts, and all the way down to Arlington and Sandgate, the districts to provide a safe, orderly, civil, and positive learning environment for all students, regardless of their preceded or actual sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. So with that format, I'll entertain a motion to warn this policy from the board.
That was me, Leon, so moved.
Oh, it's been one, Charlotte, how about a second?
I'll second it.
It's been second by Susan. Now we have a discussion from, there's been one and second, board discussion. Any? Hearing none and seeing no hands raised, I would then ask that we vote to warn this policy as provided. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any abstaining? Any nays? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a policy 5003, prevention of sexual harassment. And this policy has been through the process of all the Mount Anthony and other districts. And so far, we haven't received any comments back in terms of that. So what I'm asking for a motion to adopt policy 5003, prevention of sexual harassment.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Susan and Shayla second in. All right, any comments concerning the adoption of this policy? No discussion? All in favor then, saying aye or raising your hand?
Aye.
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 Any abstain? Okay, any nays? Seeing none, hearing none, it's unanimous. Policy number 5090, interrogation and search of students by law enforcement agencies, is up for adoption. And for the saying is this one has been all around and through, and no personal comments have been made for the correction or make any changes for this one. And I take a motion that we adopt this policy.
So moved. Ron.
Ron is made the motion to accept it. How about a second?
I'll second it.
It's been seconded by Susan. And now we're open for a discussion for policy number 5090. Any discussion? Any comments? Hearing none, then we'll ask for a vote of affirmative for all those by saying aye or raise the hand.
Aye.
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 Okay, any abstain? And any nays? Hearing none. Thank you. 100%. That ends it for the policies right now. The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Yes. Hi.
And I am yielding this evening to the Assistant Superintendent, Laura Boudreau, who's present with you. She's going to give the report, Leon.
Okay,
Thank you. So our last day of school was on Friday, June 10th. I know that everyone was excited for summer. We're excited to be able to allow our staff to have time to rest and recover this summer. But there are also things happening this summer in our schools. We have recovery, which is we're in our second year of recovery. This was a plan that we put in place with our recovery team last year. We make decisions based on data to support students in need, and they get to come to the middle school and high school. We have a coordinator in each building. This summer we have Kelly Brooks at the middle school and Sharon Rancourt at the high school, who are leading this work and organizing our resources. I know Don Campbell is here this evening as well. She has also helped with the students that get extended year service to support needs on their individual education plans. Well, we have extended year services going on for our students, which we do try to focus on intervention, fun, enrichment. We're also partnered with the YMCA to support some of our middle school students, so they also have an extended day opportunity, which is great. We also have staff that during the summer that participate in curriculum work. This is actually our busy season. We try to bring together in partnership with Melissa Senecal, our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. We bring together all the curriculum teams during the summer to look at their curriculum, to look at their resources they use. And we meet with them. We provide them with some professional learning as well, but it's a chance to kind of give them some dedicated work time. We also have some really interesting professional learning opportunities. This is our second year. We're going to be offering trauma drumming. Steve Ferris has now joined us for, I think we're in our third year with Steve Ferris. And he is brings teachers together, the locations at the middle school. We have a set of drums. He provides teachers and counselors and clinicians training, and then they can use this. It's a tool in our toolbox that reaches some of our students. We also have staff taking Trauma 1 class this summer, just to get this is a need right now that we're seeing with our students. So Dave Melnick, who's also been with us for many years, offers Trauma 1 almost every summer. Both Trauma Drumming and Trauma 1 are full. We have a wait list for both of those opportunities with our teachers. We also have reading training going on with Wilson, and the Bennington Museum is partnering with Castleton to also offer an opportunity linked to global citizenship. I was really excited to be able to spend time at the 8th grade celebration, which had a theme of kindness, and some time at the high school at graduation, which had a theme of optimism. Both were just, it was a joy to attend both of them. It seemed very normal. Everyone was really happy. I loved the smiles on families' faces, our children's faces, band, chorus participating. I know there's a lot of legwork that's involved. And so it was just a pleasure to end the year on that note. I would like to yield the rest of my time to our equity coordinator, Jonathan. Jonathan, are you there? Jonathan?
Before Jonathan, I have a
You have a question for Laura?
for Laura.
Sure.
How many students do we have signed up for the summer programs in both the middle school and high school?
I do not have that number in front of me, but I can get that number.
I can help cover that in my principal's
Oh,
report for the
okay,
middle
thank
school.
you.
I have a note about summer recovery.
So Matt can cover it.
Awesome. Thank you. for that.
Sorry.
No, that's
Okay.
okay. Good. So Jonathan, would you like to share about Juneteenth?
Sure, and thank you for whoever had the timely question, because I was in the middle of eating a giant slice of pizza.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. That was very helpful. Yes, so this Saturday, June 18th at Mount Anthony Union Middle School, that's Chris's school, off of 747 East Road, we'll be having a Juneteenth event / celebration / commemoration. To do this, we are partnering with 12 different organizations and entities. Some of them are like from the local area, ranging from SVHC, the hospital, to the town of Bennington, to UCS, to a number of others. The idea behind the event is to commemorate our nation's newest federal holiday, Juneteenth, which marks the time in 1865 when the last enslaved people in the United States found out about their emancipation. And it was also enforced as such. You'll get a history lesson. You'll get to hear from the Bennington Museum, which is putting together their own events in the following week. They're going to outline, like, the very meaningful historical connection to the local area. It will be from noon to 3 p.m. There will be free food. That is always important. Free music, free activities for kids, free arts and crafts, and free. We are bringing in a African drum circle percussionist. There's going to be a lot of events. I'm trying to shoot for 150 people. And in this event, I'm hoping we can all bring the community together and have a wonderful time and learn about a new holiday, our nation's newest holiday, Juneteenth, as well as bring all of our local entities and organizations together in a way where we can, in the future, be very collaborative to pushing towards equity initiatives. So be there on Saturday, June 18th, which is this Saturday, from noon to 3, and you will have the time of your life.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I have a question for Jonathan.
Yes.
Okay, go
I sit
ahead.
on another board, and this morning on our board meeting, I made mention of the event to make sure that everyone at the Better Bennington Corporation joined us. And the question was raised, it said, why isn't it on Sunday? I didn't know the answer.
So on Sunday is Father's Day. I live in Troy.
I thought that might be.
That's a joke. That's actually a very selfish reason, I admit. But it is Sunday. Juneteenth does fall on Father's Day. Also, Sundays are typically, my personal experience, a day that is very difficult to actually organize to people to come towards a school event. So it will be Saturday simply because it's the day before, and it doesn't conflict with Father's Day, which would probably hurt turnout. So.
Thanks, Jonathan. So I just
Okay.
wanted to wrap up that little piece of sharing some updates. I want to circle back to one question that came up over here. When I was highlighting the professional learning, I want to also highlight that it's often a lot of our staff that are offering the professional learning. An example would be, again, Dawn Campbell's with us tonight. She and Lisa Johnson are offering a case management for special educators. We identified this as a need. We looked at the resources that we have internally. Castleton was great to partner with us, and will be, so this opportunity is able to happen in our district. And then in terms of recovery, which is really under the umbrella of Melissa Senecal, Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, it's super dependent on staff that want to work in the summer. And one thing I should have prefaced is when I said that is we have staff that are super interested in working this summer, but we have seen a slight decrease, and we know that a lot of that has to do with people just need to rest. So I just wanted to add that in, that the numbers of children we can serve is based on how many teachers want to work in the summer. So thank you for that. So are there any more questions for me?
Thank you. If no questions for administration, then we'll move on to the next section and that was the superintendent's office administration reports. And we'll start at the high school first, or the middle school. Is that okay? Which order does it matter?
Chris has got notes. He's set to go.
Okay. Well, Chris is gonna go first. I'm just want to really apologize, but I thought it was raining on the time of graduation. It was, and I tried to call the school and said, let me find out what we're gonna do, and it started back to rain, and I said, they gotta have a plan some kind of way, and I didn't come.
That's okay.
And you had 4 seats and you moved it inside, so.
We did make a decision to move it inside, yes. So, yeah, I'll try to drag my feet a little bit to give Mr. Payne time to finish up his notes.
Well, just remember, we only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the clock.
Agenda.
The Oscar music's gonna start playing. So, all right. So, a lot of firsts for me as first year principal. I think I'm really pleased with the ending of the year. There's a lot of work that went into it, and myself and a lot of other people too. On Thursday last week, we did 3 award ceremonies, 3-hour-long award ceremonies during the school day when kids were in school. We did one for 6th grade, one for 7th grade, one for 8th grade. It was really nice to bring everyone together in person and to recognize students for many different awards and many different efforts and their hard work. And it was very positive. The course played, and students were cheering each other on, and it was just a really nice experience. Got a lot of good feedback from parents, as they were leaving, as groups of parents were leaving the award ceremony, just saying like, hey, that was really nice. So that was fun. And then that evening, it was a busy day. That evening was our 8th grade celebration. We had a wonderful turnout for the 8th grade celebration. Again, very good feedback. Appreciate Mrs. Boudreau, coming out for the night. Just again, very positive, a lot of good parent feedback, faculty feedback, that it was just, it's nice to come together. It was a nice night. We were able to keep it to about an hour, the ceremony, and that left a little bit more time for the students for the after party, which is what they really wanted to get to. But yeah, it was just a really nice day overall. On Friday, we have a long-standing tradition at the middle school of having a faculty luncheon at the end of the year, where we honor retirees, we honor years of service, we have a little bit of fun, we have some good food, and we did that Friday. Again, it was a success. We were able to recognize 4 different people who retired this year from the middle school, and I want to recognize those people in my report. It's Sue Allison, paraeducator; Roxy Blow, longtime secretary, also my secretary when I took a job as associate principal. I'm going to miss her very much. Karen Theoret, our evaluator, and Crystal Sanquist, who is a MAU paraeducator and also worked in one of our ISS restorative practice room. So I'm going to miss all 4 of them, and I really wish them the best in their retirement. I also want to just give a shout out for a teacher that it amazes me every time I talk about this. I have a science teacher in the building, Pete LaFlamme. 40 years of service this year. I'll say that one more time, 40 years, 40 years of service. I looked at the hire dates on the thing, and his hire date was 1982, and that resonated with me because I was born in 1983. So that was really impressive. And Pete is not, Pete, I talked to Pete, and he tells me that he's loving it, and he appreciates, the job and the people that he works with, and he has no end in sight, and he's doing the great work that he's been doing for 40 years. So I wanted to take a moment to recognize him for that. For summer recovery, I said I was gonna just touch base about that. I want to thank Kelly Brooks and Jen Austin too. Jen Austin, my associate principal, she also ran the summer recovery program very effectively last year. Kelly Brooks has taken over as the supervisor for summer recovery. To answer your question, we invited 120 middle schoolers to participate in the summer recovery program. Kelly's been working, I'll say, ridiculously long hours. He has been there well into the evening, all week this week, making phone calls, holding times where parents can come up in person to sign up. And right now we have about 1/3 of those students confirmed coming to attend summer recovery, over 40 students. And I'm quite optimistic that we're going to, increase that number over the next couple days. We really take like a cross-curricular approach where teachers work together and plan units that really cover all different content areas and disciplines. And I'm hoping that eventually we can maybe learn a little bit of how to replicate some of what we do during summer recovery during the school day, during the regular school year, because it's been a really effective approach for students who have participated. All of them have, every day has a social emotional learning component to it, which is really important for our students too. So I'm proud to say that. And we also have a summer literacy camp that is running to support some students that, might need some extra support in literacy. And our goal is to have 30 students signed up for that program as well. So that's for summer recovery. And Laura went into it a little bit already, but we have a busy summer at the middle school. I just worked 10 hours over the course of the last 2 days with a very talented group of people from the school who are helping me revise the MAUMS MTSS manual. that really kind of articulates everything, our systems in our school, our MTSS systems in our school, and the 3 tiers of behavior, academics, and social emotional learning. We already have some good plans penciled in for our 2 in-service days in August. And I won't go too far into those details. That will be more to come in an upcoming report. So thank you. Did I keep it under 5 minutes, Leon?
Thank you.
Was that successful?
Yes.
All right, good.
That's good. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna use my time to do a lot of thank yous, so just bear with me. We had awards nights. We have separate awards nights as we go into the month of June. We recognize students in grades 9, 10, and 11 on a separate evening. That was June the 1st, and then we have an awards night specifically for our graduating seniors. That was Wednesday the 8th. I just want to thank very, very much Christina Gabris, who is my office manager, and her support crew did a lot of work to make sure that awards were gathered, recognitions were done appropriately, space was provided. And I just really appreciate it as my first year through the building. Very helpful to just kind of be given things to do, sign this, show up here. But I appreciate all the folks who make that happen. I also want to thank Nancy Vanderbilt and Jeremy Neal, who helped me present awards. Folks really, it still amazes me. Folks really don't like public speaking, but they buck up and they help you when you have to beg a little bit. In the case of the seniors, I want to say thank you very much to the community members who show up to present awards, and also to the generosity of this community. Many thousands of dollars of scholarships going out to kids who are going to use it to do good things. And I just want to thank our community for making that happen. We had a very successful prom, over 300 students, grades 11 and 12 and their guests at the Hubble House, at the Hubble Homestead out on the west end of town. It's a beautiful facility. We had a lovely evening. Really fun to see kids get all dressed up and be nervous, and then watch them walk out of the dance hobbled by high heels. But just a really nice group. Again, a lot of staff shows up to supervise, make sure folks are making good choices. And I was happy to see everybody got home safely. So that was a good thing. We had staff appreciation, much like Chris's. We had it on the Thursday, the 9th, the day before our graduation. The tradition at the high school is to recognize retirees. We do have a number of folks retiring this year, including Chungsuk Lad and Brian Harrington in the math department, Diane Moore, a longtime science teacher, Jim Cross, who unfortunately passed in the middle of the year. We recognized him as a retiree of MAU, and Abby Danserell, who's support staff retiring as well. So just thank those folks for their service. We had a number of staff who are moving on. I think COVID, we're going to deal with this for a couple of years. Folks, I think, are rethinking their commitment to teaching. It's stressful and it's hard work. It's good work, but I think we're going to see some turnover. That connects to things that Laura and I have already talked about. Jim has also listened patiently that it's tough to recruit people to teaching in this atmosphere. And then on top of that, the housing market in Bennington is quite expensive. We continue to have prospective candidates mentioning that as we go through the hiring process. So staff appreciation was great. We graduation for us was outside. We bookended it between 2 rainy days. We definitely got the good day. It was a little breezy, but my hair held up, so that was good. I want to thank Laura for showing up as our presenter. She did wonderful. We put the speech out. She nailed it. I want to thank the board members who stood on the stage and shook hands. Just want to let all of you know that the mic was hot, so the whole audience at home at Cat TV heard everything we said. So I appreciate all of us kept it clean, so that was good. I do want to thank students who spoke at the graduation. Again, we give them very little notice. In the case of the salutatorian and the valedictorian, they get told 24 hours before. But Eric Whitman as class president, Sam Zimpher as salutarian, and David Nemi as valedictorian did a very nice job. Speeches were very positive. Thanked many of the staff and the adults. That was great. Katie Contrada was our faculty speaker. She did a very nice job. As always, Lynn Sweet and Mason Mills with the band and the chorus. They did a nice job, even though I cut the band performance in the middle because I folded my program wrong. So I appreciate their flexibility. I also want to thank all the parents who then who stayed after graduation. and hosted after party, which closed us out at 1 a.m. On Saturday morning. So yeah, I'm still bouncing from that a little bit. Just a lot of folks make it happen. I heard lots and lots of positive things from the community. They appreciated the venue. They appreciated the outside graduation. They were very positive about staff and kids. So it was a very, very nice way to finish my first year at MAU, and I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Summer recovery, Chris talked about it a little bit. We anticipate right now about 50 students will be participating in summer recovery for us. We anticipate also that that number will go up as grades are finalized for second semester students taking advantage of a chance to recoup credits as they move toward graduation. And with that, I'll press stop.
Okay, thank you.
I have one comment.
I have a question. I was going to ask, was there any questions for Tim?
Yeah, I want to make the comment, having two children who graduated from MAU. The graduation on the baseball field was fabulous.
Thank you.
Honestly, I think it was wonderful. It kind of let out, it contained some of that extraneous noise of children playing on the football field.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I was sitting in a different spot this year, but I didn't hear it and I didn't see it either. But I thought it was great.
Thank you.
It was great, and I have to commend the student speakers as well. They were really inspiring and so positive. It was great.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Payne? Hearing none, then I'll move on to the next agenda item, which is committee report. And at this time, what I'd like to do is hear from every one of the chairs or co-chairs as to any activity going on with their committees. I'll start with the Ag and Food Committee. I knew they had a meeting.
We did. I'll speak in Corey's.
You gonna speak for
Absence.
Corey's?
Yeah,
Okay.
unless, who else was there? Ron was.
Ron was
Right.
there.
Well, maybe Ron did. I
Was
just
Ron
kind
there?
of sat in with,
I didn't go to the meeting.
I sat in with Corey just to hold his hand a little because it didn't turn over.
Okay, but in June, Marie was there, Wendy.
Yes.
So you had a pretty full board.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any action that this board should be aware of right now besides? you
No,
had to be-
we just recapped a lot of this school year. Basically, there wasn't really anything. Talked about the hoop house a little bit
Okay.
and the program where they're making the,
Cold frames?
Yeah.
Cold frames, yeah.
yeah, which is a great project. It's, I don't know if you're aware, they're making
Just ask.
these planter boxes.
Cold frames, yep.
Cold frames with the plastic hoop
Mhm.
over it so that people can grow their own families can grow their own vegetables. It's a really great project.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
so we'll have to go up and take a look.
Yeah, would it be appropriate if I just added one thing about that is relevant to Ag Committee?
Yes,
Thanks. So we have posted for a land steward position. That's a position that we're filling at the middle school. That is our, position that Tim has referred to as years as our farmer, our MAUMS farmer. So that is posted on School Spring. It's been posted recently in the last week or so. So I just wanted to say that if there's anybody out there, if anybody knows people that are interested in that position, I believe it is not a full-time position. I believe it's paid by the hour, and I believe it's 800 hours throughout the year. So I'm just a little plug to have people check that out. We're going to be, pulling a committee together and starting the interview process over the summer.
And I think
Okay, thank
one
you.
other thing to mention is they're looking for volunteers to help water the gardens over the summer. If anybody was interested to reach out to, sorry, Chris, I forgot her name.
Probably Liz Strassman
Yes.
or Catherine
Yeah.
Keys.
No, it was.
Either or. Liz Strassman is the
Yeah.
sustainability teacher at the middle
Yeah.
school, very involved with the garden, and Catherine Keys is the current person that is doing the land steward work for us.
okay. Well, that's it. Thank you, Susan. What, that committee had a move. Susan wanted to come off the committee, but she went anyway. Tori Rich is the chair of that committee, and he was there working, and the new board member, Wendy Marie June, really Wendy June Marie was also there.
Yeah.
And so she was excited about it. She called and mentioned to me, so, and Ron was excited too. Okay, well, we'll move right on to the next one, Education Committee. We have,
Yes, so we haven't met yet this spring, but we have some dates that I have into central office for some potential meeting dates. We're hoping to meet the last week in June, and then meet again in August. I reached out to both Principal Payne and Chris to just make sure that Principal McGuire, sorry, we just made sure that we have some representation from both the high school and the middle school to be a part
Shayla,
of that.
that week is not gonna work for the administration. So we can look for another date that'll work, but that date of the 28th is not gonna work.
so,
Okay,
that voice is Jim Coquine that came in.
yep.
We didn't know who it was.
Okay, yep. I was waiting to
Okay.
hear back from Amy, so I will kind of reach back out to the committee and see what other dates work. I know we typically don't meet in July as a board, but maybe as a maybe we can try to find some time.
Well, if you
Well,
remember,
thank you. That was-
Shayla,
Yes,
Shayla, if you remember
That's Jackie.
yes, there's going to be a move this summer, so maybe we need to wait until August. The superintendent's office is moving.
right. And I wasn't necessarily meaning that we had to meet in person. We could have met on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is Jim Culkeen again,
Yeah.
Shayla. We can work through Amy and see if we can coordinate a time that everyone will be available. It just isn't going to be on the week of the 28th.
Okay.
All right. So what I wanted to make sure is that we had also a change in the Education Committee. Tori came off the education to go to finance, and Wendy June Marie is also a member of that committee. And so we want to include her. Any activity for the Spinelli Field ad hoc committee?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from that ad hoc committee, so I don't know. I know of that there was a meeting that was set, but I believe it was canceled due to the group not being able to make it. So I haven't seen any rescheduling of that group, so I don't know. And I don't know if there's any desire to wait for athletic director to be appointed, and if that is going to continue while we wait for an athletic director. So I haven't heard anything, and I don't know, Jim, if you have any update on that from a scheduling and who actually is who is the head of that committee.
Okay.
Assuming it's Ashley.
So yeah, those are questions, and I'm not gonna. I mean, we just wanted to hear, and if you didn't, we don't have anything, we'll move on. But those were questions to be asked, and that we'll talk about later on. Finance and facilities. The chair is Ms. Mullen, and she's not here. Fran Kenny is the vice chair. You have any comments, Fran?
No, we haven't. Nobody has set any meeting or anything. So right now we're at a standstill.
Okay. There's no negotiation going on right now for the teachers. There's no negotiation going on for the ESP group. We have policy committee, and that was the Mount Anthony chair was supposed to be Fran Kenny to come to that, and Wendy June Marie is to be the vice chair of that committee. I don't think either one of you made it to that committee. For that.
No, I was out of town.
But the results of that is we had policies that we brought for this. But you have an assignment that came from the public comment. As a policy number 5520 to address the issue that was brought from Mr. Barber. And if you and the chair will bring that to the policy committee for discussion as to how that would be incorporated into the administrative regs, I would appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, and we have the SPS, VSU reps and Susan, Leon, and Jackie. Do you have anything to bring back from that? No. Okay, thank you. I just want to briefly, we still right on that 10-minute mark for me. What I wanted to do, and we've already stated enough, and I mean it in terms of comments, but I wanted to make sure we as a board thank the public. Mr. Payne and Chris talked about thanking the public for supporting the high school, the teachers and the administrators and our support staff all need a thank you from the board, because without them, we can't achieve all the things that we needed to achieve. I wanted to just say, in terms of the education, I'm going to try to do as a chair, we are going to get some education in terms of what we need to happen. And everyone should have the essential works of Vermont School Board. If you don't have it in a board member, you were supposed to have a copy, and it's online for you. And if not, you can contact central office or something and get a copy. The other thing that we're going to become very proficient in is the Robert Rules of Law and how to use them, and when we should be jumping in and jumping out, and who should be doing what. So at one time, I think Mount Anthony bought them, or Jim might have bought them for everybody. But there's a book, and we are on the modified rules because of the number of people that are boards, 11 or less. So in here, and there's a lot of information for us to start going on. And so what I'm saying is I need help to run this board. This board power is only when we're together as a board in terms of making decisions and directing things to be done. I wanted to make sure that we learn the proper things that we should be doing. We have policies and procedures. We hired administrators, and we've hired a superintendent to run the schools along with teachers with firsthand. And so therefore, our job is to verify that our policies are in place. We understand them all and how they relate to accounting, how they relate to education, how they relate to buildings and ground, and make sure that all the gaps are being covered. That's what this board needs to work on. And that's why we divided the teams up. You don't have to have all of the administrators at a meeting for the chair and the vice chair to discuss things that need to be going on with the committee, and it won't be a quorum, and prepare and plan for your members to show up and have a meeting, but you'll have an agenda. So we need agenda items to be prepared from each of the committees. And then when you have an opportunity to schedule one, you can schedule it and be intelligent. So the important thing is that we're going to operate to find the true meaning that our goals that we said that we're going to ensure that each student achieve his or her full academic potential based on academic skills, reading, writing, and computation each year. This year was the first year I saw so many awards given out at the high school in the science and the math department. Education committee, take a look. You want to know, why can't we spread that everywhere? Why didn't it spread everywhere? Or what was happening so good in the development for that area so that we can be proficient in doing a lot more things, not to run the school or not to do anything. All we want to do is know that there was a lot of awards, and it could be related to the new way we're looking at grading proficiencies and so forth and competence. But the board responsibility is to make sure that you understand that we have a curriculum and that we have an opportunity to look at the results, to know what it is and that they are being affected. The next item is to have community understand and appreciate and become involved in our schools. We want to ask the community's people to be on coming in and make comments for the committees, but the committee is for the voting committee people or the members that are assigned to that committee, but we have to have a way of getting input from the public. And we get it through the committee, and the committee will then work its way to the full board, and the full board will make a decision on whatever it was that needed to be made if it needs to be made. The third goal is to ensure that Mount Anthony Board operates in an effective manner. And this is what I'm trying to make sure I do, is get us going in a very effective and efficient manner. When I say 1 hour, the reason we can achieve that is because we're going to be working behind the scenes on these committees to understand things so that when the agenda is made out, we can come forward, and those that don't require a general explanation, except for to let the public know about it, then we can all approve it and move on. Because we're going to know the essential works, and we're going to understand Robert Rules of order. So with that, let's see, did I miss anything down here? I watch the Education Vermont School Board training videos. They have a lot of them. They record them. So anything you want to know about the works of a school board, they're already pre-recorded. So you don't have to really look at the book. You can go there and search the title and then look at a video and hit it. Okay, if not, we'll have Susan, which is the executive director, will be more than happy to get everybody on. So every board member should be getting those emails from the executive director of the school board so that we could, and they tell you what's happening, and you can just click on the button and then look. Okay.
I have one question.
I was going to say, if that ends yes, a question, no, that's, yeah.
The emails from Susan, from the Vermont emails, I did click on it and signed up for, as a matter of fact, the course for Robert's Rules in it, which is in August, and it said I couldn't sign out. Well, didn't say I couldn't sign up. It said it had to be approved by central office, and I haven't done that. I signed up about a month, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So I don't know what to do in that case.
Well, we pay a fee for the education of board members.
Mhm.
And that's the first time I've heard that happening, but so send a note into the administrative secretary.
Okay.
Tell
Yeah,
exactly.
Leon, I heard that, so
Yeah.
I will make a note for Susan to see what happened there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So that's what we want to do. I want to make sure that the board members make sure that your contact information is correct, your phone numbers and your emails, so that we can make sure we're getting in contact with you along that line. So with that in mind, I'm leaving 2 minutes to cover the FYI. That ends my report, unless you have questions. Anyone have any questions for me?
You were going to give me a minute.
Dave wants a minute of my time. Okay, Dave.
So we got one left.
I was going to suggest to the board that we send some letters of congratulations or thanks to a couple of people. And Jackie would probably be doing that if the board approves. One, I think Lynn Sweet and Mamma Mia, another great production, and it would be good if we acknowledged and thanked her. I went to, on May 26th, the Evening of the Arts. I'm not a big arts guy, but I was amazed some of the stuff our students are turning out. And I thought Tracy Bashy, Liz Howe, Annie McNeese, and Jill Van Orden should be congratulated. You know, when you put the works people to see, I think that's quite impressive. And the last one, I think we could send a thanks to Judy Estes for coming out of retirement, turning out a good yearbook again. She puts in a lot of long hours and attention to details. So I would suggest we send some notes to those folks if you approve that.
Yes, we can send, one of the things that we want to do is every opportunity we have a chance to thank someone for doing something in the educational system, in the community that associate with the educational system, we want to do just that. So I highly encourage that.
I'd like to ask
Yeah.
that you send me a list because I couldn't write that all down.
So Jackie said.
I'll call you, Jackie. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, and so I was going to say, those are a lot of things that are falling up under the education part of the school. And so I want to make, and Dave's on the education committee, so I'm saying there's a lot of things that are happening that we didn't think about looking at, looking into, and doing some to show appreciation. So we're going to open the windows up to make sure that we start to look at those things. With that, it is right at 7 o'clock, and I want to make sure that we have budget status report. It's 55 pages. I hope everybody went through it, because I did, but I'm expecting the finance group to say, yes, I went and took a look and and understand it. So if a question came about how it's formatted and what it keeps track of all the different things that happen in the district for Mount Anthony, they should know it. The enrollment of our students, for some, I don't know that, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that posted, and it may not have been, but anyway, the student enrollment would show us and tell us what student numbers count that we have in the various programs, so that education can look at it and say something about those particular things. So with that, that's an FYI. I don't have anything else to discuss. This time I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dave Prepperson, John, Susan second. Any discussion? I went 2 minutes over, sorry. All in favor for aye?
Aye.
No opposed? No extension? Thank you, and see you next meeting.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.